All right, here we go. And in 3, 2, 1.
Yippee-Ki-Yay, mother.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the holiday edition of Yippee-Ki-Yay Mother Classic.
Ho, ho, ho!
Christmas week.
This is it. This is the last one of the season.
Yep,
and
last
it's
one.
Christmas on Sunday.
And I picked a doozy.
John did. So we'll do John's film, and then we'll do a round of What'd You Watch, timed What'd You Watch at the end. Even though there's only 4 of us, we're going to try the timer, see how that works. All right, John, what's the film?
Okay, so last week we did Eyes Wide Shut, which really got me in the Christmas film spirit. So I decided to go a different approach. And I want to explain to everybody why I love classic Christmas movies like It's a Wonderful Life.
Again? You can explain again?
I just have to.
I grew up in the same house you grew up into.
But I don't have any kids.
You don't even have the same last name.
That's true.
Exactly. I don't have any kids. So Christmas for me is my memories of my family when I was a kid. And when you're a kid, Christmas is a magical time and it's a very innocent time. Now, when you have kids, it changes how you look at Christmas because you look at it through your kids' eyes. So I like classic old Christmas movies that bring the spirit of Christmas. And my favorite movie, It's a Wonderful Life, which I am seeing in the movie theater tomorrow night for the first time ever. I'm going to see it in the movie theater. The 1951 version of A Christmas Carol, and another, which is the best as far as I'm concerned.
Is that the one that we watched?
That's the one we watched.
Yeah,
I think that's the best one. And the third one is Miracle on 34th Street, which was made in 1941, I think.
The one we watched?
47. I'm sorry, 1947.
47, right after the war.
It's the original version, starring Maureen O'Hara, John Payne, Natalie Wood, and in his Academy Award-winning performance, Edmund Gwenn as Santa Claus. And Kris Kringle. The movie starts off with no backstory, which Ralph loves. It just starts with a guy with a white beard going by a store and seeing somebody arranging deer. And he says, reindeer. Vixen goes next to Donnie. You've got them in the wrong order. And from there, it goes in, is this man really Santa Claus? And a couple things about this movie that I really love. And I think everybody knows the story because it was remade. It's been remade twice, one for TV and once with Richard Attenborough as Kris Kringle. But the story came about because the author was in a department store during Christmas and it was packed and people are going crazy trying to find the right gift. And he said, I wonder what Santa Claus would think about all this commercialization. That's where the whole story came from. And that's really what the story is. It's not whether or not he's really Santa Claus or not, because that question really isn't answered. In fact, you could make the argument that it's answered that he's not. He's just a nice old man who happens to think he's Santa Claus. But that's not the point of the movie. The point of the movie is the magic of Christmas, because Maureen O'Hara's character, who in 1947 is rare, she was a divorcee, single parent. Which you didn't see it in those movies. And I will also say this about Maureen O'Hara, one of the most strikingly beautiful actresses of that era. Just an absolutely stunning redhead.
And there was issues with her being a divorcee from the ratings.
That's right, too. Because the censors
not the guy that brings. Okay, we'll talk about this other stuff.
Didn't want to do that, but they stuck by it, and it worked. She's a strong woman, for that time period. Think about her position at the store and everything. And Natalie Wood doesn't believe in Santa Claus because the mother told her Santa Claus doesn't exist. And the whole thing started because Edmund Gwenn walked by the Macy's Day Parade, and the Santa Claus that they were going to have was drunk. So Maureen O'Hara hires him, and he in turn becomes the Santa Claus in Macy's. And then again, the whole movie is It's funny because if you watch the movie, in the beginning of the movie, it's Susan. Natalie Wood plays Susan. And Susan called her mother. About halfway through the movie, once the magic starts to happen, now it's Susie and it's mommy.
Yeah.
And that was the transformation that the spirit of Christmas gave that character. And I just love this story. It's definitely dated. There's no doubt about it. But it's a magical story. It's a story that makes you feel good about not just Christmas or the holidays, but about the spirit it invokes. I worked retail for a long time, and Christmas was always a special holiday not only from a sales perspective, but people seem to be a little bit nicer. You know, more people said hi to you. I think nowadays we're a lot more cynical. I don't think it's as nearly as innocent. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. I'm just saying it's so different than when we were kids. But a couple things about this movie. Edmund Gwenn, the Macy's Day Parade, they actually filmed him in the actual parade. So he was really the Santa Claus in the parade of I think it was 1946, that he was in fact, he got up on the Macy's balcony and did the speech. That really happened. So they had to do a little guerrilla filmmaking because they couldn't reshoot because they were using the actual parade. So that was really cool. Macy's and Gimbels had, in order to use their names, they had the right, after the film was made, to decide if they could use Macy's and Gimbels in the movie. So they did a screening, and if they said no, they would have to reshoot and cut entire scenes out of the movie because of that. Well,
Wow.
obviously, they loved it because it made them look so good. Also, in the letter scene, which is a big scene in the movie where all the letters go to Santa Claus, the guy who discovers it is Jack Albertson, who was in Chico and the Man, and he was also in Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And one other thing, the judge is played by Gene Lockhart, who played Bob Cratchit in the MGM A Christmas Carol.
And his political guy was Fred Mertz.
Was Fred Mertz? That's right.
Yeah.
Well, William Frawley, who was great, by the way, who was great. You know, and every scene where they're making eye contact with each other. I just love this movie. It's one of these movies that Ralph laughs at me. There are certain movies I watch every year for Christmas. This happens to be one of them. I just love this movie. And I will also say this: I am not a fan of colorization of movies. I don't believe in that. I don't like it. I like black and white. This movie was actually one of the first that was colorized, and it actually looked pretty good colorized. I have to tell you the truth. Now, do I think Edmund Gwenn deserved the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor? I don't know who he was against. I mean, I really loved him in this. I don't know if it was Academy Award-winning performance, but when he accepted his award, he did say, "Today, I believe there is a Santa Claus." So I love this movie. I would love to hear what you guys think. I think I know what Ralph's going to say, but I'd be curious to know what you guys think.
Sean, Drew,
Anybody?
go ahead.
Me next? Okay, well, what can you say? It's Miracle on 34th Street. You know, it's a very sentimental film. It's been a long time since I've actually watched it in its entirety
really?
again.
Really?
I mean, I've seen it numerous times. And it's everything you want a Christmas movie to be. Except I had one problem watching it. There's a little darkness in it. You know, because every time I looked at Natalie Wood, I wondered if Robert Wagner had killed her.
Oh God!
You know what I mean? Am I alone?
Now that's Christmas.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, I have to be honest. I never thought that. I thought she was wonderful in this movie. She wasn't one of those bratty kids. I really liked her. She was nuanced.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of surprised because I really didn't take into account, and I did this time, the whole single mom, divorced mom thing. You know, that never really struck me until I watched it this time. And Debbie's not here for this broadcast, but she really liked the film too, you know, as well. I thought, you know, maybe it was, when you said my name, I was just going to go and see who he was up against for supporting actor. But this was really a wonderful little performance. And I liked Fred Mertz. I liked all the supporting actors. I thought it was a great job. Well done. I liked the guerrilla filmmaking on the Macy's Day Parade. You know, it's very sweet. And I noticed how he didn't give them the house at the end. They still had to buy it.
Right.
But he led them to it.
Right.
You know, and left his cane in there. You know, it's and the couple, well, we wouldn't want to disappoint her. We can afford the house together. You know, it was a sweet romantic.
But that's
story.
that's when they saw the umbrella.
Yeah, the umbrella. And, you know, I believe the relationship between the adults. You know, I believed the little girl. And, you know, hey, maybe I believed he was Santa Claus too. Or Kris Kringle. But it's an enjoyable film. I got to say my favorite one is still It's a Wonderful Life, which is, you know, which is a very sentimental film, but also really kind of dark and cynical
dark.
as well.
Very
you
dark.
know, and I think that makes the sweetness of the
Yeah.
conclusion all the better. This film is like sweet throughout, you know.
Yeah.
So, but it's still an enjoyable film. You know, I wish. Well, I guess it's on HBO Max. If I get my grandchildren over, I think I'll have them watch it.
I think it's on Disney Plus too. I think that's where I watched it. I was concerned going to watch it there that it was going to be the colorized version because I did not want to watch that, but it is the original black and white. It doesn't have any Hindi subtitles, so that was a little disappointing. But it was
in the Telugu language. My version,
right? The original Telugu track, right?
Yeah.
Well, I looked up who he was against. It's so interesting going back and looking at these movies. This was the 20th Academy Awards. And he beat Charles Bickford for The Farmer's Daughter. He beat Thomas Gomez for Ride the Pink Horse, which I've never heard of. He beat Robert Ryan for Crossfire. I think that was the movie about anti-Semitism.
Yeah, that's a real.
And
that was a great performance too. Very dark.
And
it's a surprise.
And he beat Richard Widmark for Kiss of Death.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
that's quite a field, actually.
Yeah, so then that was a good call on my part. Yeah, he was good, but not better than those two.
Yeah, that Richard Widmark was his career-defining performance, and one of Robert Ryan's career.
He was evil in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, this is the same year as Morning Becomes Electra, Gentleman's Agreement. Like, it's just it's this incredible.
It was an issues year. It was an issues year.
Yes,
and this is probably the most important issue. Is there really a Santa Claus?
Right, of course.
Now, Drew, had you seen this before?
I actually had not seen it before. I saw the remake with Richard Attenborough and that young actress. I cannot remember her name. And I thought it was, it was fine. It was sweet. And, watching this one, I thought it was fine. It was sweet. I didn't really connect with it. I preferred the experience of Christmas Carol and It's a Wonderful Life. But I mean, it's a nice movie. I'm not going to pretend I'm excited about telling children to turn off their critical thinking is a good idea. But, I also had a little bit of a Christmas miracle myself. I don't know if it proved that he was Santa Claus, but we were watching the movie, and in the scene where they're literally hauling in the bags of mail, we hear these sirens, and we go outside, and Santa Claus is taken around the neighborhoods in a fire truck. So Santa Claus was about to be confirmed by the federal government to be Santa Claus, and Santa Claus was outside on my street. So it was a miracle on Reliance Court. So it was interesting. We have video of it from our doorbell because the batteries are in the doorbell. And I would send the clip to Ralph, but I don't want you to have to edit anything. So I'm not going to do that if you don't want.
That's the Christmas miracle right there.
There you go. You're welcome.
Did Kelly watch it with you?
Did what?
Did Kelly watch it with you?
Yes, we watched it together.
Did she like it?
She thought it was nice. She's more interested in trying to find that Christmas feeling. But I think she also, when we watched It's a Wonderful Life on your recommendation, when we traded The Perfection for that with you, that was the first time for both of us. And I'm not saying you have to compare all the Christmas movies. I mean, this was much better than A Christmas Story Christmas and stuff. But it was a pleasant movie, and he's charming. And I mean, I think the thing that I liked, I noticed that we were talking about the divorced woman and all that kind of stuff, and the whole post-war part of it, like you could sort of see this new world that they were building. Yeah. And the scene where he speaks Dutch to that little war orphan is very sweet. It's very sweet. So I thought it was a pleasant movie.
Oh, that's good. That's fair. Ralph?
Yeah, it's all right. It's okay.
Yeah,
I've never seen it. It's the first time I've seen it.
Wow. Oh, you've never seen this movie?
No, I've never seen it. He was good. He played a good Santa Claus. This was definitely made post-war, right? They wanted everybody to feel good after the war. So let's go out and Sean, you nailed it earlier. It's surprising that in 47, we're surprised that they're talking about commercialism in 1947.
Yeah.
How commercialized Christmas was, which to me was the biggest point of the film, especially
the eye of the duck.
The eye of the duck was that when he tells that woman to go to another store to buy skates or something, I forget what she had. Yeah. Right. And that was such a shock, but then it turned into the brilliant idea that, hey, we
can make more money if we do this.
Right. Gimbel's decided to do the same thing. But I have to say that, like Sean, I thought Natalie Wood was adorable, but then this thing just kept creeping into my head.
Wow.
It's like,
You know what?
does she know in 40-something years she's going to be drowning in a, it's just.
That didn't bother me either.
I mean, not that it didn't bother me, but it kept creeping in there. But when I think of Natalie Wood now, that's what I think of, unfortunately.
Wow. You know what? On all the times I've seen this movie, honestly, I've never thought that.
Well,
now, I will say when I've seen her in movies where she was older, that's where that comes into play. Not as a
Splendor
child.
in the Grass.
Well, every time I see Christopher Walken, it does the same thing.
Brain
anyway.
scan.
But the thing that just cracks me up, and I know it's in the time, and I can't even. The guy comes over to the black servant and says, "I'll take the daughter to my apartment while the mother's away. Yeah, everything will be fine." And the servant's like, "Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead, go." And he brings her over there.
Got twin beds,
right? And admits to the daughter that, I just wanted to get you over here, so maybe your mother might come over and I can start dating her.
Did I do that right?
I know it's all innocent, and I shouldn't feel that way. Like, well, this is kind of creepy.
No, Debbie was definitely on that. Like, how could people leave their kids with strangers?
But different times.
Yeah,
and then when he invites Santa for the twin beds, now I'm just. But the guy playing Santa Claus was fantastic. I mean, there's no.
By the way, played the lead scientist in Them.
Okay, I don't care.
Oh, really?
I don't care.
Oh, that's funny.
That's okay. Hey, did he do other movies too? He's probably done dozens.
Yeah,
dozens.
But he has most known.
But Them is a great movie.
Right. It is
my favorite giant insect movie.
Is that you watch that every Christmas?
No, but I watch it probably once a year.
Yeah.
Great opening scene.
Yeah.
But I mean, is or isn't he Santa Claus? I believed he was Santa Claus. I mean,
it's funny. I saw a YouTube video because I was doing some research on this, and a guy makes the case that they tell you in the movie that he's not, with everything that is said. And you definitely could make the case that, like Sean mentioned, he led them to the house. They still had to buy the house.
Yeah.
And the doctor at the beginning says he's a nice old man who's been in this home for a long time, who just likes to do nice things. But
he's never there on Christmas Eve.
And he says, I got to go Christmas Eve. Right. I got to start doing the toys. Right. Does that mean that,
I like to believe he is. So
earlier that he wasn't flying around, whatever. I mean, I just saw.
I mean, there were things they could have shown that would have been more definitive, and that's not the spirit of the movie. Like they could have said, "Here's a Mrs. Claus. Here's his winter fortress. Here's his slave army of midgets." They didn't show any of that stuff. So it's really about that the guy was kind and
it's
generous.
Also believing. Without knowing.
Well, that's the whole movie. It's about having faith.
Well, that's why the other movie I kept thinking about was Oh God.
Yeah. You know what?
Sure.
They have the same thing
really
with the
was
trial.
God.
Right. They have the same thing
there's
with
no
the trial,
question in that one that he's God, right?
But they have to prove, but he has to still go to trial and all that stuff. John, do you watch any contemporary Christmas movies?
Yeah, I do. In fact, one of my all-time favorite Christmas movies is Elf. And I've probably seen it 3 times since it's been running.
That's a funny movie.
I love Elf.
Did you guys watch
Christmas
Spirited?
Vacation?
Did you watch Spirited?
I haven't watched it because one person said they hated it, another person said they loved it. Wait, one more thing about this movie.
No, we're done. We're done.
No, we're not. When this movie came out, they didn't want to put it out at Christmas because back then nobody went to the movies around Christmas. People went over the summer. So they put it out in the summer. And the trailer for it, all it is some guy walking through MGM Studios talking to Rex Harrison and Baxter. They just saw the film. And they very, very vaguely talk about it. Santa Claus is never mentioned. So they never tell you that it's about Christmas or about Santa Claus in the trailer for the movie. So when people went to it, they had no idea what it was about because it was out in the summertime. And it caught on fire and it made a ton of... Maureen O'Hara was forced to do it. She was back in Ireland. And they forced her to come back to do this movie, and she did not want to do it. She said, I was pissed. I was quite pissed when I got the letter. Well, then she got the script. And she said, as soon as she read the script, she goes, this is something special.
Everything I read about it is the cast became super close.
They said it was one of the best filmmaking experiences they've ever had.
Up until the lead actor died, he was trying to make a sequel himself. John Payne was trying to
John Payne was trying
to write a sequel.
Did the cast get matching tattoos like the Lord of the Rings cast?
I think Edmund Gwenn got a tramp stamp. I remember right.
Santa. Now, let me ask John, as my classic movie and Christmas movie scholar. I actually wasn't sure if I had seen this movie before because I said I think there's a scene where the little girl is on the stand.
Isn't that the sequel?
Is that what it is?
Not the sequel, the
remake.
Yeah,
okay,
I think so.
I was expecting that, and then I was like, I when I started watching it, I was like, okay, I'm pretty confident I haven't seen this, but I remembered that as the climax, and then that wasn't part of the story, and I was like, I don't know, and I could go and check. I could go and check the remake, but I had to watch 5.5 hours of Indian movies, so I didn't get a chance to.
The little boy is still alive. They interviewed him, so the line they didn't know the line. Why do you believe he's Santa Claus or something? I can't remember what the line was, but they couldn't come up with a line for the kid. So the kid came up with a line. Hey, what if I just say? And I don't know how old he was. It must have been 6 or 7. Because what if I just say? Because my daddy told me so. He goes, yeah, do that. And that was the line they used in the movie. So it was nice because even the bad guys weren't really bad. The psychiatrist with his always picking.
No, he was terrible. That guy.
He was pretty monstrous.
But the man in Bellevue.
But he was goofy though. And then even the DA that was trying to prosecute him was still.
Well, he ran out to get a helmet for his kid.
Yeah, I got to get that helmet.
No, I know.
Yeah, he was a great actor too. I know I've seen him enough.
It was a very Capra-esque.
Yes, it's a quaint little film that I never have to watch again.
Well, I mean, the great villain of the movie is capitalism, but it's not that villainous.
Right.
So
that's right. That's right.
And again, post-war,
letters of people.
I'm sure they wanted people to go out and buy Christmas presents and get back into the spirit of America, which is capitalism. And you know
what, Ralph? You asked me a question. Do I like any contemporary Christmas movies?
Yeah.
Do you like any old Christmas movies?
It's a Wonderful Life.
You do like that movie,
and one of the whichever one the Christmas Carol that we watched, I thought was pretty good. Although I did like the remake that was done with Guy Pearce, the really nasty one.
Yeah, but that
I know, but no, yeah, It's a Wonderful Life is probably it. I can't think of any other. I had a roommate that would watch White Christmas every year with with Bing Crosby
and Danny Kaye.
Yeah,
that's my favorite line in Christmas Vacation, where he goes, "We're gonna have a." What's he say? He swears. He one F-bomb in that Christmas Vacation where he talks about Danny F and K.
Yeah.
So no, I don't. It's a Wonderful Life is probably it.
Okay. Well, that's a good one to have.
And I haven't watched that in years because that got overplayed as well.
I watched. And
now it's Love Actually and Christmas Vacation.
Now I'll tell you what I'm going to do, Ralph.
And that's
I am going to watch. I have never seen it. I am going to watch Love Actually.
Oh, it's a fun movie.
I'd rather you watch Spirited than Love Actually.
Wow. Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right.
I think you should. Love Actually is nasty people. Nasty, but still fun.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good Walking Dead prequel as well.
It is. But they're mean people. That whole they fat shame.
Oh well,
people.
I don't want to watch that.
They're cheating on spouses.
I'll watch Spirited because I like
Spirited. Just watch it in the spirit of Christmas for me, and I'm sure you're gonna. Because I'm the one who said I liked it. I'm sure you're gonna. That's not gonna.
Well,
help.
someone else told me they hated it.
I know.
And you don't like musicals, so that's why I'm shocked.
This is not like it is a musical.
I heard it's a musical.
It is a musical.
Full-blown musical.
Just stay through the credits.
Debbie really liked the new Scrooge, musical.
I saw it. I don't know. They made him like a male model. I didn't like that at all. Scrooge. Now the actor, I can't remember the actor's name, but he's a well-known actor. Got a great singing voice. I mean, I was shocked by how good he was, but it was okay. In fact, we're going to talk about what you watch, so I'll mention the next thing.
All right, well, there you go. Well, let's rate this. Do we have to rate this, really? I'm the only one.
Listen, you know how I feel about it.
I'm like Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
I don't need to see it again.
No, well, that doesn't. Okay, that's fine.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
As long as I like
it's a classic. I know.
Saving Private Ryan. I never want to watch it.
I do. I wouldn't mind seeing the colorized version, but
I'm telling you, because I hate colorized version.
That was one of the first ones that Ted Turner did, right?
It really wasn't bad. Like the red of Santa outfit. Yeah. I mean, it worked.
Well, I would say it's Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Okay.
And Saving Private Ryan, also, I don't think a Christmas movie.
No.
But I saw that 4 times in the theater.
Oh, see, so. I could not. It was that. I love the movie. Don't misunderstand me.
It's just unbelievably
too difficult
intense.
a film for me to watch.
Oh, yeah. No, I watched it in the theater because I said, I'm not going to watch this again in the theater after it goes away. It's even if it comes back as a revival, it's going to be like something less than as far as projection. So I wanted to see it more than once, and it was overwhelming. So if that's the war that preceded Miracle on 34th Street, I can understand why people would find a lot of comfort in this movie.
Well, a lot of Hollywood films in those days were just trying to appease and get people feeling good about themselves again.
Sure.
I mean, that's
like Crossfire and Kiss
have
of
the
Death.
country feel good about
Kiss of Death.
Right.
You know, my local TV station used to play, speaking of Private Ryan, The Longest Day.
Oh, yeah.
Every night, the week of June 6th.
Really?
You know, and I used to watch it every night. And I had a dental appointment this year on June 6th. And I said, oh, The Longest Day. And the dentist was like, so that's the solstice? I go, no, it's the longest day. That would be the solstice, right?
The solstice, yeah.
I'm like, no, Normandy invasion, the longest day. You know, how soon we forget.
Yeah,
and
right.
A great sequence in Private Ryan. And that's another film, like a lot of Spielberg films, I don't like to see a second time. I'll watch Jaws endlessly. I'll watch Jurassic Park endlessly. But a lot of his films, they lose their power, in my opinion, seeing them a second time. Has anyone seen Fabelmans yet?
No, I haven't seen that yet, but I will say I haven't been brave enough. I want to, but I haven't been brave enough to watch War Horse a second time, as I thought it was spectacular, but it's so intense and also not a Christmas movie. So,
all right, well, that's it for What'd You Watch? See you guys next week. Come on, let's go. I'm just kidding. Wow, you guys. Holy cow.
That's not in the Christmas spirit,
Let's do a round of What'd You Watch? I'm going to put the timer on, so get ready. Who wants to go first with the new timer rules?
I think Drew should go first because I want to see if he can do it within 2 minutes.
I bet he could. No, Sean, go.
Okay, considering that I was trashing Bullet Train for being a Tarantino ripoff last week, this week I watched Guy Ritchie's Rock and Rolla, which in Guy Ritchie's essentially, you know, is the British Quentin Tarantino. But, you know, I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the, you know, serpentine plot and all the character and all the actors, you know, despite the Tarantino-esque nature of the story. Is that under 2 minutes?
Oh, way on. You got another minute and a half.
Is that the one with Toby Kebbell? I think he plays the musician or something. It's about a rock star.
Oh, yeah.
That one's fun.
Yeah. I enjoyed it. I saw it in the movies, watched it again, wanted to see a little action. I'm not going to have to stretch it.
We can add your time to Drew if he needs it. So Drew can get another minute 10 since you were so quick.
I yield my time.
This is how this will work. All right, John, what'd you watch?
Okay, so I
got to reset. Hang on.
Okay, I watched two.
I thought you were going to put the clock up on the screen.
I don't have. I couldn't. Believe me, technical difficulties. I've tried.
Turner Classic Movies got a great documentary on Leslie Howard, who played Ashley Wilkes in Gone with the Wind. It is a great documentary. He died very young in a plane crash helping the war effort in London. I didn't know much about him, but it was a really fascinating documentary. If you get a chance, take a look. He also did the first version of Pygmalion. He played
Petrified Forest.
Petrified Forest. Humphrey Bogart would not have gotten the role in Petrified Forest, which he played on Broadway, if not for Leslie Howard. Leslie Howard would not make the movie without him. But the other thing I watch, in keeping with the Christmas spirit, I watched for the first time the entire Muppet Christmas Carol. And I have to tell you that it was wonderful, and I'll tell you why. I read an article on it. Michael Caine plays Scrooge in it, and he said he acted as if he was doing Royal Shakespeare. He wasn't doing any winking and nods to the puppets. He didn't look at his puppets, and he was excellent in it. And it was a really nice family movie, but he was really good in it. And I have to say, I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would, because you know how much I love that movie. So if you get a chance, check it out. I was shocked how good he was in it and how straight he played it. So those are the two things I watched.
I don't want to eat into your time, but who's seen the Mr. Magoo?
I saw Christmas?
It. Very good. Where does that play? I'd like to see that again.
I'm trying to think where I saw it. I don't know. It runs on TV every now and then.
Oh, my God.
Screw it.
And they also did like Mr. Magoo, Moby Dick.
Yeah.
You know,
but the Scrooge one is really good. It's a well done one.
I used to love when what was the two characters that would go back in time? Was it
Mr. Peabody and Sherman?
Mr. Peabody. I love that one. Love that one.
Bill and Ted.
All right, Drew. There you go. And go.
So I watched a number of things that I'm not going to talk about that John would want me to talk about, like The General by Buster Keaton, great film.
Yeah.
And I watched finished watching the whole series, The Good Fight, which was great. But I watched a documentary that I did not really expect to watch and did not expect to have such a powerful response to. It's on Netflix. It's called Harry and Meghan, and it's getting a lot of shit because people think it's about Prince Harry and Meghan Markle whining and look, they're rich and he's a prince and she's a princess and all that. That's not what it's about. It's actually about making the decision to tear yourself free of the family that's actively hurting you. And it's really quite amazing. There are some people who end up being kind of heroic that you would just didn't know about or didn't expect. I don't know that it needs to be 6 hours, but it's very good. So I would recommend that. I was really surprised at how resonant that was. And then remember last week I told you we saw King of Kong, Fistful of Quarters, to go back in the memory. So this week we had a different friend over and we watched a movie in the holiday spirit of giving because she had never seen it. It's called Showgirls. And
classic.
It's about dancing and trying to make it in entertainment. And just the scene in the pool alone is just the most realistic depiction of eroticism.
Oh man, amazing! Ever. What a hot scene!
Like Eyes Wide Shut. Although I'm not pretending to compare it to that film because it's not as Christmassy. It has lots and lots and lots of boobs, and none of it is sexy. So it was worth
you really get numb to it actually.
It's just crazy.
I think that's
even though it has Gina Gershon, who I
love Gina Gershon.
See her
Girls and Harry and Meghan.
Watch her in Bound.
Spectrum.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, that's a great movie. So she's great in it.
All right, good job.
That's what I watched.
Done? You done? You got 10 seconds left.
You're welcome.
Oh wow, that is a Christmas miracle. All right, I'm going to talk about I'll reset the timer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. Watch how slow this 2 minutes
No.
is.
I'm going to recommend a YouTube channel I found. I don't know if you guys have.
You're going to recommend someone else's YouTube channel.
Yeah, very, very highly. It's called Omeletto, Omeleto, and it's all short
that
films.
Thing made from eggs?
Not an omelet. That's how it's spelled. Omelet. No, Omeleto. You're cutting into my time. It's a short, all short films. It's got a bit of a Black. What's that show that was on Netflix for a while? Black Mirror. Black Mirror. There's a lot of time travel stuff. There's a lot of. It's just it ranges from real good stuff to.
How did you find the channel?
It just a film came up. You get on a rabbit hole and you find it, and it's
YouTube gives you stuff.
Yeah.
Oh.
So it's a whole bunch of short films. And
should we add the link to below the comment section?
Well, you can. You can.
Yeah, we might as well. What the hell?
Might as well.
We can support other channels.
Yeah. A lot of good stuff in there. There's a lot of crap. You got to weed through it, watch each one. But it's fun. It's a good one. If you got on a rabbit hole, it's kind of fun.
These are just YouTubers making films. These are just
they compile from collate from all kinds of short filmmakers.
All right.
I'm looking at it right now, and they have it actually split up into comedy, drama, sci-fi, romance, horror. So that's cool. You can kind of pick a genre. And
I've been clicking through like the time travel stuff just to see how confusing those get.
Sherman and people.
Cool.
So
put a link. I'd like to check it out.
All right. I'll add a link.
When I was teaching screenwriting, we were always looking for new short films to show to students. So.
Well, nowadays with the way people can shoot with whatever cameras and stuff they have,
and quality,
the quality is amazing.
Yeah,
and the special effects they can do. Like I saw one where a guy time traveled in a bathroom. Every time he went in the stall, another version of himself would come out.
Oh yeah,
and it was just piling and piling and piling, and it was just wild. Now most of them kind of, like I said, they got a Black Mirror-ish feel. Some of them, Twilight Zone, which is fun.
Yeah,
I went over my limit. Oh my God.
What a disappointment.
You broke your own rule. Sean, do me a favor. Go like this because you're in the bottom so they know where to find the link.
Yeah. People know how to use YouTube, John. Boomer.
Listen, that's what they do in all the shows. They always do that. They point down. All right.
So let's smash. Good job. That was good. This was a good end of the year. This is a good 2022 way to finish out with a nice, quaint, old freaking movie about Santa Claus.
A classic.
Yep. What we're going to do
now
now
is Oscar-winning film.
Right.
Was he the only Oscar winner?
No, I think they won. I think they won screenplay too.
Really?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
They really were starving for entertainment back then, I think.
Yeah, that's right. Life with Father came out that year too.
Yeah, it did. They're starving for
really
entertainment. That's why people love that
really
movie because they're starving for entertainment.
That's why they made more family movies like Double Indemnity just a couple of years later.
Postman always rings twice.
All right, so we don't know what the next phase of Yippee-Ki-Yay is going to be, but we'll spin the wheel. Somebody will pop up. And we'll figure out, we'll get together and we'll tell you we'll make a suggestion about what we should do. I'm not quite sure what we're going to do, but let's see here. Okay.
But we're going to be there for our fans. There we go. There's the wheel.
Oh, it's slow. This is bad.
That's all right.
Bad. Hang on. This is going to be,
I gotta
this is very.
look this way, right?
What is going on? No, it won't be me. Takes forever. Oh, the anticipation's killing me.
Yeah, wow.
What is going on?
It's a Christmas miracle.
Oh, Kris.
What the hell's going on with the
Kris
wheel?
Kringle.
No,
By
roll
the way,
again.
Kris
I
was
He's
just
not
forget to
here.
say,
What?
Chris Coker couldn't be here. He loved this movie.
Oh, yes.
He loved Miracle on 34th. So you want to make sure I told all you guys.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
Yeah, Yippee-Ki-Yay. Ho, 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 ho.
Yes,
Yeah.
he did.
Big
Yes, he did.
Yippee-Ki-Yay.
I questioned that, but he stuck with it.
So did I, based on his reaction when I announced I was going to pick that one.
Right.
So,
All right. Well, there you
listen,
go.
From all of us and to all your families, we wish you a happy holiday and a very, very Merry Christmas.
And a happy
And a
New Year,
prosperous-
because we'll be in
Happy New
2023.
Year.
on
Yes.
this
prosperous 2023.
So,
Thank you
all right,
for all
guys.
your
Have a
support.
safe holiday. See you next year.
A Christmas
See you next year.
miracle. Subscribe, like it, notifications.
Yeah, there you go. What a way to end the year
I'm telling you what.
with that face. With that face.